Hey, thank you all for being here. We wanted to be out here at Lee Chapel, which has become such an important platform to delivering services to this community, to have an update at the end of one of the more tumultuous weeks in Nashville history. I want to thank Councilman Russ Pulley, who is here, and Brandon Taylor, and to thank Representative Love here at his church. As Nashville goes from emergency to recovery to rebuilding, I think it's important to be out here with the Metro departments, seeing the communities that they're helping to recover and then on to rebuilding. And I'm grateful to all of their hard work. We're going to move through the program with them. I want to just recognize the importance of Lee Chapel to the community for providing resources and organizing resources to the community. There is still a great need for the following items: flashlights, batteries, cleaning supplies, toiletries, women's hygiene products, baby formula, diapers, baby wipes, and non-perishable foods. I would encourage everyone to bring these supplies as they can directly either here to Lee Chapel at 1200 DB Todd or at any of our other community resource centers. I also want to say here in this house of worship that 14 of our city's churches have suffered either major damage or been destroyed. They're in a variety of council districts: Dodson Chapel United Methodist Church, East End Methodist Church, Hopewell Baptist Church, Mount Bethel Baptist Church, Five Points Fellowship, St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church, Braden Memorial Church, Brentwood Baptist Church, Cross Point Community Church, King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church, Liberty Christian Bible Church, Mount Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, Mount Carmel Baptist Church, and St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church. All have had significant damage. These are in a variety of districts. These are but many churches are activated and working in close partnership to help rebuild the community, and I'm grateful to Lee Chapel and again to Council Lady at Large Sharon Hurt for this. Hands On Nashville, which will have a report later, is now reporting basically 30,000 volunteers online, and we're going to work with them. They're going to give you more details to host major cleanup work days this weekend. Now, one of our priorities will be to go through neighborhoods deemed safe by the Office of Emergency Management and perform door-to-door volunteer assessments and sort debris, clear it out and check on urgent needs, and set up volunteer efforts. And remember to sign up, people in Nashville, for at HON.org to volunteer. Now we have Ellen Lehman here with the Community Foundation to give a report on the extraordinary fundraising that has been going on, and then how we're going to connect that back to the community. The Community Foundation has now raised more than $5 million from generous individuals and businesses, and ultimately she'll talk to us about the path to deploy that money into helping our neighbors. NES continues to work round the clock to restore power now to 11,000 customers. Now it's down from 50,000 on Tuesday. And the Metro Strong Task Forces continues to clear areas for volunteer groups. Public Works crews continue working to clear roads, repair traffic, and clean up debris. And if you look outside of this building here, you'll see incredible effort in that regard, and I'm grateful to it. Metro Schools will be back in business on Monday. We feel that all the power will be restored to all the schools by that time, and then as Dr. Battle has said, there are plans for 2 schools in particular to deploy elsewhere until the work is complete. Despite the heartbreaking scenes across the city, we have seen such acts of kindness as neighbors helping neighbor, each act as making our community stronger and helping us in this time of trouble. Now, we're here to give a report to this community and to all of Nashville for the progress that the city is trying to make in recovery. And with that, I'd like to ask our Director of Emergency Response, our Fire Chief, Chief Swan, to come and talk, then Chief Anderson, Public Works, and then Hands on Nashville, and then the Community Foundation as our financial partner in dealing with this crisis to begin to make a brief statement, and then we'll have questions and answers after that. So Chief Swan, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, again, just want to emphasize all the great work that's being done by all the metro parties that's playing a role. We're trying to bring Nashville back, and then all of our community partners and all the cleanup efforts that everyone is doing. We do want to just make caution that individuals that are out doing the cleanup, there will be a lot of activity this weekend, heavy equipment. So we want to make sure that everybody be very cautious and giving the right of way to these individuals that's doing the cleanups. Another caution with the weather changing a little bit. As you can notice, we've dropped a few degrees from the time the storm came in, with the lows tonight getting down below freezing, around 29 degrees. We will caution everyone to make sure that they dress properly, layering themselves in clothes. And then also this weekend, the temperature will start to warm up. Tomorrow, Saturday, we get close to the mid-50s, the lows 34, a little bit above freezing. But again, we just want to be very cautious there. Sunday, temperature will be a lot better, 65, and of course the low 45. So again, just make sure that we all taking the right precautionary measures as far as keeping ourselves warm. And then a bigger issue will be, because the temperature drops, we want to make sure that we do not have any fires where people are heating devices that they're using. If they're using gas or some type of propane, that when they're using these space heaters and they're indoors, making sure that there is ample 3 feet of space in a 360 diameter away from any heating device, and making sure that it's well ventilated. That's something that we cannot stress enough. The last thing we need, again, is another crisis on top of the one that we're in. We also want to make sure that the burning candles, making sure you have carbon monoxide alarms, just the regular stuff that we know. If you got power, make sure that you're not using your appliances as a heating device as well. The great news that we talked about yesterday about the disaster centers, we will be opening them up tomorrow. They'll be running from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They will be located, the Hermitage Donaldson location will be the Hermitage Community Center. North Nashville and Germantown will use Hadley Park Center. East Nashville will use East Park Community Center. This will be put out, it's already put out through our social media outlets, and we will actually make sure that everyone here will actually have the locations and the information that they need to put this out to the community. This will be used as a one-stop shop where you'll be able to come there and get everything from mental health to being able to even charge your phone, get something to eat. We'll have TEMA representatives there, FEMA representatives there, and other resources that we know that you need. The thing that we want everybody to be aware of is that there are many resources for you. Come to the center and get that information. Don't get taken by anyone trying to get you to sell anything or any property or do anything that you feel that you're not comfortable with. Come to the information center because that's what it's for. It'll give you a little bit more guidance. Other than that, again, we'll keep continuing on. Our task force teams that we placed together to actually go out to the communities is working well with Hands on Nashville to go into communities, make sure that they're clear and safe and able to actually move debris. So again, we thank you. We thank you for your patience. I will reiterate the fact that sometimes it seems as if we can never move fast enough. We understand that, but just know we do have a plan. We put it in place, and we're doing it intentionally and with purpose. So again, thank you for your time.
Certainly very pleased to report to you that there has been no significant criminal activity associated with this storm. So I credit the officers who are out there and working with the community. Thank you very much for cooperating with us, for being part of our team. Our officers continue on 12-hour shifts. days off canceled. That will last through the weekend, and then we'll reassess on Monday to see where we are. As we go into the weekend, we know that there's going to be a large number of volunteers out there assisting in the cleanup, and you've seen that today. There'll be even more this weekend. So sightseers, please stay away. We need to clear the streets so the equipment, NES, everybody, restoring power, all the things that need to be done. We need to keep the streets clear, and we need to get the volunteers in so that they can help clear those streets. So one of the things that we're going to experience this afternoon is a major power outage on Lebanon Road. That will occur shortly. It's a very necessary thing. NES needs to shut down the power in that area in order to reconnect some substations. So we will have officers along the Lebanon Road corridor. We expect that to be on Lebanon Road from Old Hickory Boulevard east. We'll have all the officers that we can manage to put out there to make the traffic flow as smooth as possible. But anybody listening should consider an alternate route. We'll get more details on that as soon as we know the area that's going to be affected and how long it will last. We expect it to last 2 or 3 hours. Again, we'll have officers along that corridor to assist with the traffic flow. As we go forward through the weekend, we'll have officers on traffic lights where the power is out, as many of them as we can possibly resource. So again, thank the public for their patience as they work with us as we keep Nashville moving. Thank you.
Certainly we are grateful to the mayor and to the police chief and fire chief, to NES also for the great work they've done to help us get restored here in North Nashville. Just to say the work that we've done here is just a symbol of our ability to come together, and we hope that other communities also are getting the support that they need. We're working with Councilman Taylor to make sure that the residents over here get their needed support. We know this is not a sprint but a marathon, that the development of community agencies working together will be long-lasting to make sure that all of our residents get back into their homes safely, and that those who need to have their homes rebuilt will do it in a timely fashion. And we again can't help but urge more often now, please be very careful when talking to contractors. Please be very mindful and have contact with others who need support also with their insurance agents also for their claims. So Lee Chapel's been great. We certainly welcome all the support that's been here, and we'll continue to do the work until all of our community members are restored. Thank you.
So this weekend, well, first let me say that Hands on Nashville, I'm just blown away by the volunteerism that's happening all over our city and the great work that's happening here. We've been showing up this week in a supportive function, trying to help with whatever that we can. And so this weekend, we're going to continue a little bit of that. I want everybody to know these volunteer opportunities are live on our website right now, and they're location specific. But in North Nashville and East Nashville, we're going to continue the supportive efforts that we've been doing over this last week. That means taking care of volunteer registration, supplies, things like that. In partnership with the city, though, we're also going to begin canvassing neighborhoods and taking a visual assessment of what the longer-term volunteer needs are going to be. So, as Reverend Love just mentioned, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so what's going to be needed next week and the week after that, so that we can begin to pinpoint and more precisely deploy volunteers. We're also going to be doing some of that work in Hermitage and Donaldson tomorrow. And additionally, we'll have some volunteer-led projects around debris removal. So I would encourage you that if you're interested, go to hon.org and sign up. And be looking for opportunities for the next several weeks. Yes, I'm Lori Shenton, the President and CEO of Hands on Nashville. SHINTON.
Next we have Eddie Davidson from Piedmont Metrocast.
Good afternoon. I'm Eddie Davidson with Piedmont Natural Gas. Of course, safety, the safety of our system and the safety of our customers is our number one priority. I'm going to give you a brief update around our system. Our infrastructure backbone is sound. We had no significant damage to any of the backbone infrastructure. Most of the damages that we saw were related to structures that were impacted by the actual storm. We've responded to roughly 300 calls to those affected structures, and we expect that those calls will continue as the cleanup effort goes forward. As the cleanup effort goes forward, please remember to be safe, particularly around natural gas. There can be times when heavy equipment is moving around. It can snag meters, it can snag pipes. If you smell natural gas smells like rotten eggs. If you smell natural gas, you need to evacuate the area, leave the area immediately, and then call 911 or call our customer service number at 1-800-752-7504. We will dispatch technicians very quickly and make the area safe. Do not try to find the leak yourself. Don't try to take matters into your own hands. Let our trained technicians come in and take care of that and make the area safe. Also remember that if you are doing digging or doing demolition, please call 811 to locate underground utility lines. As we're in the process of cleaning up, we want to ensure that we don't make a bad situation worse by impacting underground infrastructure. So we want to call 811. It's a free service, and we have added additional resources within Piedmont Natural Gas to ensure that we can get out, mark those utilities in a timely manner. So please do that. Now on to our customers. We understand that many of you are experiencing difficult times, and we are going to do the right thing for you. I'm here to let you know that we will offer flexible payment terms around billing, waivers of fees as needed, and we are going to be suspending disconnections for the coming months. Let us know if you're having issues, and we will work with you. Call our customer service number at 1-800-752-7504, and our agents will assist you through these difficult times. And finally, to our neighbors, Piedmont Natural Gas and its predecessor company was organized in Nashville in 1850. Our roots run deep in this city. When our community experiences a setback, Piedmont Natural Gas will be there to help. I'm proud to announce that Piedmont Natural Gas and its employees are pledging $200,000 to the tornado relief effort for Nashville and Middle Tennessee. We'll be making $100,000 immediately available to various relief agencies. And then in the coming weeks and months, we're going to distribute an additional $100,000 to other agencies who are either engaged in recovery and rebuilding efforts, or perhaps even agencies that are yet to form. Our neighbors have been there for us since 1850, and we're going to be there for them in this very difficult time. Thanks.
Next, we have Mark Sturdivant from Public Works.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to give you a little bit of an update on where we are at Public Works. Give you a couple numbers. We started out with 71 traffic signals out. We got 50 of those back on. We've replaced 60 stop signs. That's going to be a number that will probably continue to grow. We're still finding those. And this is the number. We've had 25 or 28 trucks working the last 2 days. This is the number we're proud of. We've taken away 530 loads of trash. That's 530 loads of trash you don't have to look at anymore. So tomorrow we're going to really ramp up. We've got some of the big trucks coming in. To give you a sense of scale, the Public Works, the brush trucks that you know us for are 30 cubic yards. The trucks that we're bringing in are 150 cubic yards, 5 times bigger. So we'll be able to do 5 times the volume with one truck. They don't have to go back to the load side as much. So we're really going to ramp up, support the volunteers tomorrow and Sunday, and then next week we're really going to start to move. So Just please bring your stuff out to the curb, get it organized. We'll come back as many times as we need to get this place cleaned up. Thank you.
And lastly, DeCosta Jenkins from ES.
First, I want to thank Mayor Cooper for his leadership in this effort. As I shared during the briefing on Tuesday, in terms of devastation to NES infrastructure, this is the worst event I've experienced in my 29-year career. The number of broken poles we've identified has increased to 750. By comparison, the 1998 tornado was around 200. As I also previously reported, we were able to secure 400 contract linemen to assist our crews. Our crews are working 14-hour days, and they're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've made good progress. Our focus has been to repair the lines that feed our substations. We have reduced the number of outages from 50,000 to 11,000. But we still have portions of Van Buren and Metro Center substations out. And these substations provide power to much of North Nashville and to Germantown. And out of the 11,000 customers are out, 5,500 of those are in North Nashville and Germantown. The good news is that we plan on having these substations fully energized and operational this evening. We still have most critical transmission work done. We will have most critical transmission work done by tonight. And then we'll move our focus to repairing the distribution infrastructure. So I need something from the public. As we move toward distribution infrastructure, that means I'm moving closer to the homes. I need you to keep a 20-foot radius around the pole clear for me. I need you to report down power lines. And if possible, stay out of the roads. Finally, I want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to our friends and neighbors whose lives have been changed forever by this tragedy. I want to recognize the efforts of our NES crews, our contractors, and all essential personnel. We've made progress, but we still have a lot to do. As they said earlier, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Our commitment is to work 24/7 until all that can receive power have power.
Before you leave, Dr. Battle here, and Monday's going to be a normal school day. I'd like her just to stand up and talk to us about making Monday a normal school day.
Thank you, Mayor. For Metro Schools update, we've received tremendous efforts and supports across our district. We have 3 schools that are in transition right now who have made significant progress. Our school, Churchwell Elementary, has made significant progress in transitioning into Park Avenue. Meigs Middle School has transitioned over to Graymar Middle School, and Graymar Middle School has transitioned over to Jerry Baxter. Regarding power being restored to our facilities, we are down to just 4 of our schools remaining without power, and so we've been updated and know that significant progress is being made to ensure we have a smooth transition into school on Monday. So all schools are prepared. We are making sure that we're getting communications out to our families regarding transportation, meals as well, and supplies will be available to all schools as we resume our normal practices on Monday. Thank you.
Good. So if there's one word for today, it's mobilize, right? The community coming together and mobilizing to recover and rebuild. Thank you.
We'll open it up for questions. First question.
The schoolers who don't have any uniforms are being able to go without uniforms. The kids who was without house right now.
Yes, we're asking all of our families to send students to school on Monday. We have supports available to ensure they have what they need, uniforms, supplies, meals. We're well prepared and being supported to ensure that transition for them and to set them up for success.
This question is for Chief Anderson. There have been some reports of looting. How do you ease people's concerns about that, and what are police doing to combat that?
We have received no reports of looting, nothing of any significance associated with the storm that's come through. Obviously, life goes on in Nashville, and we're investigating criminal activity all the time, even as we speak. But there has been nothing of any significance reported to us concerning any looting of any business or residence.
Do you think that's because it's not happening or people aren't reporting it?
All I can say, it has not been reported to us, and if it was any significance, I think it would be. So none of our officers have detected anything. We have officers in all the affected neighborhoods, so nothing of any significance.
Mayor, we know the president had already been in contact with you before his visit today. If you could just go to the podium and talk to us a little bit about that brief moment we saw on, as he arrived. What did he say to you? What did you say to him? And did you have any more face-to-face conversations with the president?
Well, I just had a brief interchange with him on the tarmac. I felt it was important to express how we were counting on the federal government for help, as we are. Very valuably, the administrator of FEMA was here today with him. I had a substantial conversation with him, and the federal government is committed to helping. The emergency declaration yesterday is very important to accept the state's request for an emergency declaration. The city had already gone ahead and done that. So the governmental or bureaucratic path is smooth now for us to begin to get federal aid to our citizens. And I did express to the president I wanted to thank him for coming personally to see the devastation and the destruction here in Tennessee. And it was important for him to do that, and I'm grateful that he came down and did that.
What did he say to you?
He said he loved Nashville. It was very important to him, and that they were going to be on it to help us all that they could.
Mayor Cooper, what's next for you? What are you doing tomorrow? What's your focus in the next couple days and weeks?
Well, for me, part of this, frankly, is to cheerlead a little bit this great group of people. It's all these people behind me that are mobilizing the resources to help the city. Very importantly this weekend, Hands on Nashville. This is going to be just one of the great moments in Nashville's history. This many volunteers showing up to rebuild the community. So I'm going to be spending the next 2 days with them at these sites, thanking people for coming out. By the time we get to Monday, it'll have been a full week, and nobody will ever have believed that so much happened in 1 week, both in destruction, and then in recovery, and then in rebuilding. And we are going to put the money that's being gathered by the Community Foundation in time with a good process out to nonprofits and to churches to help people directly. But Hands on Nashville, part of their work tomorrow is to inventory the need. As we were saying, going almost door to door, doing a very specific estimation of the need. You can walk out this door and see a lot of need, and you can do it, frankly, from a lot of other buildings in Nashville too. But I'm grateful to these people here working as hard as they can, and their teams, and NES and all of its contractors, to making a big difference this week. And that's my job. Frankly, I get to work with some of the most wonderful people in the country, in the most wonderful community in the country. And every visit that I've had, I've been inspired by the courage and optimism of our people. And I just want to marvel at that, and that's what I'm going to do this weekend, is marvel at that. And I'm also going to get my work gloves out and try to help some too.
Mayor, Sherry Bishop, 760 AM. When we've had prior disasters, there was an outcry from the North Nashville, primarily the African American community, that they felt kind of left out in terms of attention for services. And then I heard that again. Will there be some sort of debriefing at some point to look at the protocols for how things are prioritized?
Well, sure, absolutely. We're very transparent. We are here because this is an amazing part of our community, and this government is organized to help everybody, and that includes North Nashville. And I don't think anybody on the streets in North Nashville today can say this is not a priority for this city, for this government, to serve all of our people and to serve them well. And that's what we're doing.
Excellent.
Mayor Cooper, so I know that you guys had mentioned that you had advised people not to take advice from contractors and things like that. Do you have any other measures in place besides the $5 million from the community and whatever? Do you have any other measures in place to protect, especially older black families that have been living in Nashville along Jefferson Street, just right around this area? Are there any additional measures that you guys are taking, or do you have any additional information?
Ultimately, I'm hoping to have federal resources that are very large, in the tens or maybe even in time the hundreds of millions of dollars. It's going to be our job to get them into the right hands to rebuild our community. We do not want anyone displaced from Nashville because of this storm. Right? That is our goal. We want everybody who's lost their shelter to be sheltered, and that's our commitment going forward, and our commitment going forward is to rebuild the city. And I want you and the media and the council members and the members of the government to understand that and help us focus on individual cases. No one should be taken advantage of because of this unfortunate event, and we're committed to having that not happen. It's the reason I went to the airport today. It's the reason that I'm excited about FEMA being here. We're going to need large resources, but it's our work together to get them into exactly the right hands, where people's lives they were interrupted but not changed as a city going forward. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'm
Yes.
Pastor Curtis Bryant, Greater
Yes,
Heights Missionary
Pastor.
Baptist Church right here in North Nashville. I was encouraged to hear Piedmont having resources committed to helping persons concerning their bills and what have you. This question is, I guess, to Mr. Jenkins, if there are some concessions from NES as it relates to persons who are least able to recover from this as it relates to electricians, electrical bills, and those types of things.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
In terms of electricians, I mean, that's outside the scope of what we do, but I think if you look, but I think if you look back at the history of NES, every time there has been one of these events, we have taken steps to make sure that people aren't hurt. I mean, we do that every day. That's not something we don't do. That's something we do. So this won't be any different than what we do every day.
Well,
I mean, because but we don't have we're a public entity, so we can't contribute $100,000 if that's what you're asking me.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, wait, no, we can't do that. I'm sorry.
Next question.
I have a question for Councilor Jenkins. One more. Sure. Okay, so you're putting up these two substations, and you have the big transmission lines. You can fix that. Can you estimate how many customers in North Nashville or pick up some other area are still going to be without power? Because I'm thinking, okay, so you borrow electricity from somewhere else and you route it to the neighborhood, but if there aren't any lines from the wherever you're getting the power to into the homes, the people still aren't going to have power, right? Do you have an estimate of how many people that is? There's a lot of wires down in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I think what I said, we've got 11,000 out now, and once we get Van Buren and Metro Center up, that's going to solve problems for 5,500, so we'll be right at 5,000 people out at that point. And now again, that's not the only place we're working. I mean, we've got efforts going on in other places, so there'll be additional people. But by this evening, that 11,000 number should drop to about 5,500. Does that answer your question?
Well, the only follow-up is, okay, the left, the 5,000 or so that are left,
All right.
are we talking 3 months before all the poles are back?
Well, it's not 3 months before they get their power. I mean, I don't mean to.
Well, how are they going to get power if there aren't any poles?
Okay. Let's try, if Scott Potter doesn't mind, let me use a water example to help us, okay? So let's say we've got a reservoir, and let's say we've got a pumping station. So what we've done is we've tried to repair all the pipes from the reservoir to the pumping station. Because if we don't do that, then I can't get water to the homes. So by tonight, we will have repaired most critical infrastructure to the pumping station. Does that make sense to you? So then going from there, it's based on circumstances. So what we're going to do is we're going to start focusing our efforts on distribution going to the home But again, it's based on circumstances. And what I mean by that is if there's no interruptions from the line to the home, we'll have that fixed. If there are other interruptions like the meter has been pulled away from the house or other things like that, they're going to require an electrician and it becomes a little more complicated. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Anything else before we?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Just a quick question. Do we know how many people are displaced in Nashville?
No, I can get that for you. I know we had our numbers, and we had when codes had went out, we had a residential versus business. And the last we checked, we had over 18,000 plus residential, and we had, I think it was 600 and some as far as businesses. But that number, I'm sure, has changed since I've checked it this morning. But I can get you that information. Again, we've been just out today, just sort of going out to the communities and out and about. But again, all that information I can get to you because we have a great tracking system, and that's one of the things that the city is implementing as I speak, where we can actually track a lot of things that was going to not only help us to calculate the numbers that you're asking as far as how many people are displaced from housing or businesses, but it also help us be able to track how we will be able to get more and better resources like from FEMA, because we can keep this down real time. It just makes this transition a lot smoother when we start talking about needing the federal aid that we've been blessed to being passed. So now it's just getting all our record keeping. It's just a good tool to be able to do that. So I can get you those numbers, so I'll be more accurate with it. Yeah.
For the Community Foundation, we heard the updated numbers, the donations that have been received. What's going to be the priority of how that specific money, the $5 million I think it was, what's going to be the priority on how that's spent?
I'm old, I need glasses. I'm Ellen Lehman, and I have the great pleasure of being the CEO, or actually president, of the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. We have been doing disaster response in this area and across the state since 1993. Right now we're in the midst of encouraging people to invest in the future of our community. Gifts of time and talent and money are all important in this endeavor, and we are grateful for gifts of any size at any time. But we're also cognizant that much is on the line as families and businesses start the long journey to restoration. I'm very happy to be giving this report today because some good things have happened over the course of the last 24 hours. And that is, though, the vast majority of gifts that you have heard us talk about were received as pledges. It wasn't cash. It is just, we would like to give you this money. We plan to give you this money. We hope to give you this money. And while it's gotten a little better in the last 24 hours, we still have very little in the way of cash to support immediate assistance, but it is getting better. And so I am, while yesterday I would have said that, frankly, it'll be a long time before we see the money that will come our way eventually, but when it arrives, we will be accepting applications from nonprofit organizations who are able and willing to dive into a better future for all of us. Because of some gifts that have come in, I am hopeful that we will be able today to start making grants, or at least do it over the weekend. We will be looking for organizations. All of the money that we will be taking in will go to nonprofit organizations serving this community. None of the money stays with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. It may take a little while to get it to pinpoint it in and strategically deployed, but the reality is all the money will be going out into the community. When we begin the process of setting up an application, it will also mean that we have a group of civic heroes in and around Middle Tennessee who are willing to help us go through the applications and again strategically deploy whatever money it is that we have at that time. And I say that again because frankly I have talked to a lot of people who think that there's a treasure chest at the Community Foundation and I have a key and they don't know why I'm not giving the money out. Well, the money isn't there. It's a lot of pieces of paper who say we hope to give, we plan to give, and the like. We are grateful for those pledges, but we really can't do very much until we actually have the cash in hand. Now, I don't know about most of the people in the room I know, but I don't know about you, but I hate having to wait. I want things to happen now, not in the future. However, I've learned that life does not follow my directions, much to my chagrin. We are already assembling this committee to ensure that the funds we have will be used wisely and well, and truly, I'm hoping that either over the weekend or at the very early part of next week, the official applications for nonprofits to ask for funds will be available by then. And then once we have the cash, we will be able to start making grants. Again, the last 24 hours and some gifts that we got of cash will speed that up. But we are looking to we're looking forward to being able to put money where our mouth is. One of the things about the Community Foundation is that our work helps free up nonprofit organizations to concentrate on delivering vital services while we connect generosity with need, and we are able to funnel money to them after they have made an application and it has been reviewed by the committee. It is not, applications are often feel as though they are lots of things you have to put down. These are very short applications. We are getting them as close to the bone as we possibly can. Now, we know that when disaster strikes, there is no quick fix. But at the Community Foundation, we are truly laser locked in to support the affected communities and the nonprofits on the ground helping victims and addressing their needs. And when we know from 1993 on that when we stand together, it is really our finest hour. We are all in it, though sometimes it may seem differently. We are all in this together. We are Nashville, and in this particular case, we are also Tennessee. So thank you very much. I hope I answered some of those questions.
So just to clarify, the $5 million figure we heard earlier, is that all cash you have on hand now, or is that partly?
Most of it is pledges.
Can you break that down for us? How much cash do you have on hand now?
I don't know, because it keeps changing.
A rough estimate?
Well, I can tell you, no, I really don't know. I can tell you that 1.6 million is from online gifts, but that's really the only stat I have.
And that's cash you can spend pretty much.
Well, it doesn't, yes, but it's not like we're in Las Vegas and, you punch a button on a machine and the money comes flowing out. There will be lots of good things happening, but for instance, our email went down last night. When you all were having the council meeting, etc., I was trying to get there, and our email was down. It was down until late this morning. So I can't be in charge of the technology, though I would love to be it sometimes.
Other questions?
Yes, I actually have one, two. First of all, is the death rate still at 2? From this storm? And the other question I have is, will this, or do you expect for this to impact the census?
What was the question?
It's still 2.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes. And what was the other question?
The other question was, do you expect this to impact census taking?
Well, I'm sure it will. Because again, with the displacement, so in the devastation that we're facing, again, I couldn't give you how it will. What the number would be or the percentage, but I'm sure at this point in the history of Nashville and with the devastation that we've taken, if you look out in the communities, you'll see that it would be very difficult to do a complete, true census in this situation. So I'm sure it will be, but I'm sure they had a plan, and I don't know what the movement will be there, but I can, if you want to email me or Kendra, who's in the back, my PIO, any of those questions, we will actually reach out to those the ones that could answer it a little bit better.
Right, whether they have a plan.
Yeah, if they've got a plan. I wouldn't be able to give you that, but I'm sure they would. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can talk about the census piece for a minute.
Yes.
You must be very aware of the fact that when the mailers are sent out, there's not going to be a door to knock on for some of these people. And so we need to be very concerned about this, and we need to talk about how we're going to address this piece, because this relates directly to federal dollars drawn down. And so I'd hope that we'd have a plan between all of us back here, right, and census to talk about how we're going to get people to respond. Because the first wave goes out electronically. They can do it by their phone or electronic device, but then when they don't respond, it's mailed out. So if my mailbox is not there, I can't respond. If you send an enumerator out to knock on my door and I don't have a house with a door to knock on, then I certainly can't be counted. And so that's what's also a significant concern in this area, to make sure that we get people properly counted. So we will be working with other folks to make sure that everybody gets counted.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.